Beneath the burning sands of Egypt, a secret slept for centuries. It was not the tombs of kings that stirred the desert, but something far more mysterious in a forgotten corner of the Fayum oasis. Archaeologists stumbled upon golden faces staring back at them. These were no ordinary mummies wrapped in linen and prayers. They were adorned in gold, clothed in immortality, hidden from the greedy eyes of time. Who were these silent figures entombed in splendor beyond imagination? Their names had been stripped away, erased by the relentless winds of the ages, yet their golden masks gleamed defiantly against the shadows of history. Each shimmering visage was a doorway to a forgotten soul, a frozen whisper of lost power. Ancient priests had sealed their bodies with spells and gold. Hoping to cheat the gods of death, the desert had buried their ambition, but could not dim the brilliance of their golden slumber. Why were these individuals so honored, yet so utterly forgotten? The kings of Egypt built monuments to their glory, yet these golden mummies had no monuments. Their tombs were modest, their titles unknown, their origins a puzzle wrapped in sand. Some scholars whispered of a secret priesthood, a cult that worshipped the passage to the afterlife through gold. Others believed they were the wealthy merchants and nobles who sought to buy immortality. The evidence offered only silence. Their burial grounds, scattered and half devoured by the desert, whispered only fragments of their story. Golden funerary masks lay half buried, their delicate features still resisting the march of time. Their eyes, carved from stone and precious gems, stared endlessly into the void. When the first tomb was opened, those present said it felt as if time itself recoiled. The mummies, preserved under layers of gold leaf, exuded an eerie majesty that no words could capture. They were not meant to be found. They had been sealed away for a reason. Their discovery shattered the clean lines of history, introducing questions with no easy answers. Who honored them with such lavish care, and why did memory itself conspire to erase them? Their amulets, their rings, their sacred symbols were unfamiliar, bearing marks unknown to known dynasties. It was as if they belonged to a lost chapter of Egypt's story, one deliberately torn from its book. Some faces bore signs of royalty, others the serenity of high priests, yet none carried a name. Without inscriptions, without scrolls, they were ghosts with golden faces. Adrift in history, the desert winds could not strip away the brilliance of their coverings. Beneath layers of sand and silence, their golden faces remained untouched by the decay of centuries. The ancients believed that gold was the flesh of the gods, incorruptible and eternal. To be covered in gold was to ascend beyond death itself, to dwell among the stars. But these mummies did not rest in grandeur beneath pyramids. They lay forgotten in modest graves, as if hidden deliberately from the eyes of the living, who sought to conceal their existence. And why each excavation unearthed more riddles, more silent stares frozen in time. The tombs contained not just bodies, but stories locked within precious artifacts. Jewelry woven from gold threads finer than a human hair. Amulets bearing symbols lost to modern understanding. Fragments of a belief system where gold was not wealth, but a passage to another world. The artisans who shaped their masks crafted more than faces. They forged dreams of immortality into metal and flesh. Every line carved into the gold told a tale of longing, of fear, of unyielding hope. The faces were calm, serene, resigned to an eternity of watching the world forget. Beneath the Fayum sands, layers of burials hinted at generations dedicated to this silent faith. No scrolls survived to explain their rituals. No temple walls bore their names. The golden dead chose secrecy over fame, mystery over memory. When light first touched their resting places, their reflection off their masks was blinding. It was as if the desert itself tried to warn the living to turn back, but curiosity, as it always does, overpowered caution. Scholars gathered fragments of cloth, shards of pottery, beads of gold, trying to reconstruct a broken world. Each object raised new questions that echoed louder than any answers found. How many golden mummies still lie undiscovered, hidden beneath the shifting sands? What catastrophe, what forgotten decree consigned these souls to oblivion? Had they defied the rulers of their age? Had they sought refuge in death from a world that wished to erase them? Or were they guardians of a secret too dangerous to endure? The more the sand yielded, the more impenetrable the mystery became. Their faces, though still and silent, seemed to whisper against the howling winds. Not all treasures were meant to be uncovered. Some were meant to remain buried forever, locked away from greedy hands and prying eyes, and yet the temptation to unearth them proved too great. Golden masks were lifted from the sand, exposing hollow eyes that stared into eternity. The air inside the tombs was thick with the scent of ancient resins and oils. Centuries of silence wrapped around the golden dead. Like a second skin, their dreams of eternity, once vibrant and proud, had crumbled into dust, but their gold endured. Mocking the decay that consumed everything else, archaeologists tread carefully, afraid to disturb whatever forces still lingered there. In the half-light of their lanterns, the golden faces seemed almost to breathe. Were these mummies reaching out across time, or were they merely mirrors of our own fears? Each unearthed figure was a question carved into gold and bone. The bodies bore traces of rituals forgotten, even by the priests who once uttered them. Symbols painted across burial wrappings spoke of journeys beyond the stars. The dead of Fayum were not content with resting in anonymity. Their gold cried out to the living, demanding to be remembered, and yet memory is a fragile thing, easily lost to shifting sand and fading tongues. Historians pieced together fragments of forgotten dynasties, desperate to anchor these souls to familiar narratives, but the truth remained elusive, a mirage shimmering in the desert heat. Perhaps that was always the intent, to become legend rather than history, to live forever in whispers rather than records. Beneath their masks, the golden mummies held tight to their secrets. Their hands, folded in eternal prayer, guarded the mysteries of a vanished world. No mortal king had commanded their splendor. No known temple bore their offerings. They existed outside the lines of official history. Rebels against oblivion, the sun scorched the sands above. But deep below, their world remained untouched, a world of gold and silence, where the dead dreamed dreams too dangerous to name. As modern explorers charted their graves, they too became part of the story, bound by curiosity, cursed by discovery. The mummies had waited patiently through millennia for their return to the light. But light is a cruel thing. It reveals, and it destroys if you seek the forgotten, and if you listen to the silence of the sands, subscribe. For there are still secrets waiting to be found.